This episode, we sit down with new friend Matt, owner and founder of Boreas Campers. We had the opportunity to tour their shop and see where the magic is made. They make off-road adventure campers, these little kind of smaller footprint, hard to explain. We explain it in the episode. You can check out some of the social, but they're just like adventure trailers. You can sleep inside of them, known as like a teardrop or square drop. So they have a fixed kitchen, really comfortable mattress, but you can still put a roof rack on top, and they're just made for like kind of heavy off-road use and getting you out into remote places. So we talk about the history of Boreas Campers and Matt's journey to building a quality product and a business. We talk about travel, family, growing a business, and in that enthusiast adventure space. So take a listen, leave a review, and tell a friend about the show. Thanks for listening. Is it weird to be excited about new tire design? I'm oddly stoked to get more miles in testing on our new Kenda Cleaver AT2s. It's a great solution for a lot of SUVs, light truck, and 4x4 owners. It's in the snow or just about most off-road environments. They're not designed for like hardcore rock crawling or mud bogging, obviously, but just for all-around trail use and street use. We're super excited about them. The interlocking tread blocks offer great traction, and there's a Kenda optimized system to produce exceptional on-road noise results, meaning they are super quiet. They have a 50,000 mile limited warranty for LT applications and a 60,000 mile warranty for P-metric fitments. That's right, an all-terrain with a 60,000 mile tread guarantee warranty. So anyway, check them out, the new Cleaver ATs. We'll be doing more posts up on them and more testing as the weeks roll on. So check them out. I was recently talking to a friend about watches, and he said an automatic watch will never tell the time as well as a phone, in the same way that a vintage truck will never really do what a modern one will. But for the same reason, it creates a connection to a mechanical thing that's hard to describe. And that's a sentiment that I've been feeling. I'm tired of looking at my phone. When I got a screen time report, it showed that I was on my phone for 5 to 6 hours a day, and I wanted to not do that. So, and looking at it for time is not necessary when you can have a beautifully crafted, timeless kind of classic watch on your wrist. Watch is a classic and classy way to be equipped. And our friends at Vero Watch they're a small team of craftspeople who are hand making beautiful watches, really well made, well priced, and we just really love them. So check them out on their social media or web and start dreaming and get off that phone and start getting it connected to a cool piece of machinery, equally functional and beautiful. Time to class it up, peeps. It's Vero Watch, VERO watch.com. All right, welcome to the show here at the New Legend Podcast, where we discuss and explore vintage 4x4s, adventure culture, family, and being a man in the 21st century. And speaking of that, we are here with Matt from Boreas Campers.
That's right.
Matt, first, man, thank you so much for just allowing me to interrupt your day.
No problem.
And for showing me around. And thanks for doing the podcast. This is
that's great.
Different kind of format. Have you done a podcast before?
I have not. This is my first podcast.
Okay, great. And we are here in their shop, and their guys are working. They're building campers. Do we call them campers or trailers? Talk about the distinguishment in semantics there.
Yeah, we usually fall under the camper category.
Okay.
The trailers that's your broad term of kind of towable vehicles. Since these are built to go camping in, we felt Boreas Campers was the way to go.
Yeah, cool. So as far as in the industry, a camper, does that mean like you're sleeping in it? Would it have that connotation?
I think so. I mean, a camper can be very broad term, I think. I mean, it can be a van, It could be Sprinter. It can be a 45-foot gooseneck toy hauler. So it kind of comes down to the person.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go teardrop name either, because we are manufacturing in that category. Right. But we feel like we're kind of one step beyond your traditional teardrop.
Yeah, and I've heard them called like square drops or square
drop
back.
is a common hashtag on Instagram. Yeah.
And so Matt's been so gracious to show my wife and I, and as we've talked about on the show, if you've listened for a while, my family, we've been on this kind of evolution of camping and adventuring, and like adding comfort into that equation. And so that's kind of where this led. And so this is kind of explain what the XT is in a nutshell.
Yeah. So the Boreas XT is our most popular model. It's the turnkey ready to camp unit. So that has your full kitchen, refrigerator, solar, heat, water, propane, all the electrical, roof rack, hot water shower.
That's cool.
It's you pick it up and you can go right to the campsite.
And when you're discussing these things, like one thing that this category typically does not have is like a bathroom or like a toilet.
That's correct. Yeah, that's in these size trailers, that's going to be left kind of into the end user's hands. For some of them, it's a shovel.
That's right.
Otherwise, there's portable cassette toilets and things like that. There are options.
Yeah, because there's no the more you dive into what's the perfect setup for you, you realize there is no perfect setup. Really, there's pros and cons to everything.
We say that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell people, we'll have customers that come in and well, we're looking at a Sprinter and we're looking at a truck camper, a rooftop tent, and I'm the first to say, there's no perfect adventure vehicle.
That's right.
It does. I think we even wrote a blog about it. It doesn't exist. There's pros and cons to everything. I spent a year living in a truck camper, and that was great because every time I went somewhere, all my stuff needed to come with.
Right.
And now, I fall into the weekend warrior category, and I don't need a second vehicle to maintain. That's just purely for the weekends. Fits in a garage. It's simple. You leave it at camp when you're out doing your adventures during the day.
Yeah. And another thing that's awesome is it becomes like a storage space for your gear at home. So you're not unloading everything, hauling into a closet or lofts or cabinets, or it's kind of nice.
Exactly. It's packed all the time.
I love that.
You hook it up at 4:00 on a Friday afternoon. You put some fresh water in it and get some beer and food in the fridge, and you're gone.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's back up just a quick second. One thing we always talk about, because we are kind of an automotive-based podcast. What was your first car or first vehicle of note, and what did it mean to get your license?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've always been a car guy, vehicle guy.
Yeah.
My first word was car.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'd say my first vehicle of note would be, I had a 94 Ford Explorer.
Nice.
And that, I put the roof rack on it.
Yeah.
And the bull bar on it. And I put rims and
had
VFGs.
The 4-liter, right? The
4-liter V6.
Yeah, great engine.
I got the Napa special fog lights and stickers all over and stuff. And that was it. And after that, I went into 4Runner, and I've had dozens of vehicles.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hobby as well.
And it's kind of funny. A friend of ours, Brian, he's got one that's all tricked out, but they're kind of making a resurgence right now. Those first gen Explorers. Is 94 still the first gen, the square?
It was square. Yeah. I'd say that was first gen.
And those are good. Those are good whips.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about kind of your journey. How did this go? You said you lived in a truck camper. How did it go from maybe a hobby or a passion into a full-fledged awesome business?
Yeah. It. I guess I started kind of building stuff in high school. Did framing and carpentry. through high school and college, and got a degree in construction management.
Okay.
And I was doing construction management and some engineering for power plant construction. So we did coal and gas fired, and
Yep.
it was an awesome job. I loved every minute of it. But it was 24/7 on the road, kind of for your entire life, building power plants, and I burned out. And I sold all my stuff and moved into a camper. I actually had a C-Class, like 27 foot.
Okay.
So, I didn't know what overlanding or, what the real options were.
And were you single at the time?
I was single.
Okay.
Yeah. So bought that. I ended up getting a spot in Breckenridge for the winter. Did the ski instructing thing.
That's interesting, man. Like just to dig into that a little bit. So like, did you perceive that when you said you were burned out? Did you kind of perceive that as like a moment of crisis, or was it just like, I got to do something, or I'm gonna just?
It wasn't a crisis. It was just needing a change. Yeah. And I've always, we grew up car camping, grew up mountain biking and skiing, and I wasn't getting to do that stuff. Yeah. My last job assignment was, in the middle states, and it was long drives for mountain bike trips and ski trips, and so I just wanted to make the move and do this ski bum thing, mountain bike bum, for a while, and figure out what came out on the other end.
I'm always like really captivated, but because that's just like a big move. Sell your stuff, get hop in the RV, and just that's the plan.
Right. That was the plan.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you start? How did you get to a place where you built your first?
Yeah. So
camper.
I was traveling, and once this first ski season was over, I hit the road to do a downhill mountain bike tour.
Yep.
And I quickly found out that my C-Class RV was way too big for the places I wanted to go with it.
Yep.
So I sold that, got a 3/4 ton 1997 Ford F-250 with the Power Stroke in it. Bought a camper on Craigslist, much more agile for what I was looking for.
And it would get you. Did you actually start camping out in more remote places?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. I'd get out back on the forest roads.
And this is in Colorado.
This was all over Western U.S.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did about 12,000 miles over the summer, and hit about 30 mountain bike parks.
Killer.
Yeah. So it's super fun. But I met a lot of people that were like, "Oh, I want to, do that too, but I don't want to sell everything and move into RV. I just want to be able to do an adventure with a capable vehicle that's well equipped." So I got back to Breck, and what I ended up doing was buying a sportsmobile.
Oh, really? Okay. Like one of the E350 ones?
E350,
those
V10,
those are
4x4. I mean, it was an awesome vehicle.
Yeah, those are awesome.
And so I started renting that out. And it was going great. Renting it out. Customers I had customers come in from Germany and all over the world and rented it.
Interesting.
But the problem I was having was I needed more vans for that to be profitable.
Right.
As we all know, sportsmobiles are not cheap.
Right.
And so I just was like, why don't this trailer thing seems cool. So that was 2015.
Okay.
And there's a lot of trailer companies coming out. Let's see if I can build one. So I built one in the one-car garage living on Boreas Pass in Breckenridge. And
that's where the name came from?
That's where the name came from.
And then did you start renting that out?
I was going to start renting the trailer as well, but I kind of saw the path going more towards manufacturing and retail.
Yep. So
sold the sportsmobile, sold that first camper off Craigslist.
Yep.
And just kind of progressed from there.
That's cool. Yeah, so talk about the evolution. So that was 2015, so 5 years ago. Yeah. What has kind of been your guiding principle on your construction philosophy? Because you guys have there's no wood on. I mean, there's some decorative wood. Maybe you guys can see in the video. Talk about construction philosophy and what drove those decisions.
Yeah. So initially starting out, we followed suit of the typical teardrop manufacturing. It's a plywood wall wrapped in aluminum, and that's it.
Did you have like kind of the exo frame at those early models?
No exoskeleton. It was very, very traditional.
Yep.
It was built to be off-road from day one.
Yep.
That was always our intention. Every single trailer has had independent suspension. We've never done anything else.
Yeah, what did you do on those very early ones for suspension?
Timbrin.
Timbrin, okay,
yep,
good.
We had Timbrin on that, and we've never shifted. I mean, we've shifted models and specs and things, but it's always been independent. And yeah, we wanted to bring a high-quality unit to the market. And as we started to get busier and grow, and the competition continued to grow with that, what's something that can set us apart? Teardrops have been around since the 1930s.
Yep.
They've made a resurgence here in the last 10 years, but they're built the same way as they were in the 1930s.
Right.
Plywood wrapped in aluminum, and there's certainly some excellent high quality trailers like that, but in the off-road world, in those washboard roads, you needed something different. So we wanted to build the highest quality camper on the market and have something that's going to last forever. I want to see these on eBay in 30 years getting remodeled and repurposed.
Like what we're seeing here, like when was the first model of this design?
So we started doing the zero wood construction. We put it to production in 2018.
18, okay. So you've had these romping around for 2+ years, thousands and thousands of miles. They're holding up pretty well.
Yeah, it immediately solved a lot of kind of maintenance issues with the plywood. We would build a trailer in Colorado. It's dry. There's no humidity.
Yes.
And you send that trailer out to South Carolina. Then it's absorbing that heat and that humidity, and door latches don't latch right. And so we solved a lot of those problems immediately.
Yep.
The composite does not have the thermal dynamics that plywood has.
Right.
There's no thermal conductivity with it. There's no thermal expansion and contraction. So that helps with your seals.
Yep.
So that, whether you take it, to South America or South Carolina, you're not pulling on seals, you're not pulling on fasteners.
That's a big thing.
It's stable.
Yep.
So yeah, that was, and we never looked back.
Yep.
We saved weight. We cut weight by 15%.
That's a big thing, you guys. Like, one thing I told Matt, like, I've watched a lot of videos on these, and I've seen a couple at a distance at maybe Expo West, like one of the shows. But being up close in person, they're actually like pretty they're pretty, like they're imposing. Like they're kind of big. But you say like one of these weighs around 2,000, 2,200 pounds.
Yeah, the XT, which is that turnkey fully loaded model, comes in at 2,000 pounds dry.
That's light, man.
It is. Half of that is just our chassis.
Right.
The chassis, we call it a rolling chassis, so that's suspension, wheels, tires, and the frame. Comes in just under 900 pounds.
Yep.
So almost half of it is just into the foundation.
And that's one thing, like, we talk about a lot, and a friend of ours, Scott Brady from the Overland Journal, talks about it a lot, that people don't pay attention. Like, you go buy a Jeep JL, put a roof rack, put all like big bumpers, and like you've immediately exceeded the manufacturer's capacity limitations. Right. And so to me, that means a lot that you've paid attention to, because the max capacity of these axles are 3,500, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So that gives you 1,500 pounds for water, gear. And talk about something that drew me to Matt's brand was the Moto Friendly, which is the MXT, right?
Correct, yep.
So talk about the evolution of that. Like, what made you decide to throw a motorcycle on there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the options and little things that we do, the shower and stuff, it came from customers. The whole trailer is really built on
That's cool.
customers' input and then feedback as owners as well. And one of my early builds, I think it was probably the third build I'd ever done, was I got to carry my bike with me. They were full timing, and
awesome.
and I was at the point where I'd build anything. Right?
Yeah,
I just
that's
wanted
right.
a sail, so we figured out how to put the bike rack on there, and we did a chopped up rear receiver bike tray, motorcycle tray
on the back.
It
was on the tongue.
The
still?
style that's designed for the back of a vehicle.
Yes,
but we just modified it, put it on the tongue.
Yeah.
And I mean, now we do our own custom system and everything like that. And that's how that progressed, and they've been popular. They're certainly not the highest volume.
Right, but you said like a lot of people are like, you can substitute the motorcycle rack for bicycles, and like there was just one that pulled in some customers that they have provision for 5 mountain bikes, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so in 2020 we added the receiver hitch to that front triangle moto area, and that allows you to take the moto tray off and carry mountain bikes instead.
Super cool.
Or road bikes or whatever. So you can carry 3 in the space of the single dirt bike.
Yes.
And then with our toolbox that we're running up front, you can put 2 on top of the toolbox. So now you can carry 5 bicycles without using the roof rack, without using the rear receiver hitch.
And so someone told me once, if you want to inspire people to build a boat, you don't talk about how to build a boat. You talk about like the vastness of the ocean and kind of the adventure that awaits.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
Picture that, man. Like you got a camper trailer that really can go. I mean, you're obviously not going to take this thing hardcore rock crawling.
Right.
But you can take this thing to a lot of remote places. You're self-sufficient because it's got solar, it's got water. Like you can boondock for, 3 or 4 days a week, easy.
That's always the big question is how long you can go. But I mean,
that's up to the
summer in my camper, I never turned the camper off.
Yes.
And it was running the fridge 24/7.
Really? That's amazing.
For about 4 months. So we had good sun. We are in Colorado, good sun. And by the end of the 4 months, the battery was getting tired. We plugged it into the shore power and charged it for 24 hours. But
you got a motorcycle. It's just so cool, dude.
I mean,
it's
MXT
inspiring.
is my unit of choice these days, and it's great to, I'll offload the bike when we get to the trailhead. The wife will drive the truck and the camper.
Yes.
And I go forward and find the camp spot.
Oh, cool. That's a great idea.
So I can cover 30 miles as opposed to, 5 miles in a truck, find the epic camp spot.
Did you guys use some comms or just?
Yeah, we'll carry radios with.
I've never thought about that. That's a great idea. And just pre-running so you find the best site.
Yeah, you just run up there and, or if it's a busy weekend out of a popular area, we've been in the situation where I, ran up on the dirt bike and saved a spot.
Yeah. And what's really awesome is that you can get out remote, you can be having a moto adventure, cooking great food, and you still have a very comfortable space to retire to. And that's what my wife and I are like stoked about. It's like crawling up in the rooftop tent's one thing, but this is next. Like, how thick is the mattress? Like, talk about some of that comfort.
Yeah, it's a 4.5-inch memory foam mattress. It's custom made for the camper. It's wrapped in organic cotton. It's really comfortable.
So nice.
The insulated composite panels make the camper really quiet too.
Yeah.
So we'll end up camping at shows.
You can't tell, but like how thick are the walls?
Yeah. So the walls here are about 1 3/4 inches.
Yeah, that surprised me when I saw a cross section.
Yeah.
Like, so think about that for just because a lot of companies, it's either like you said, a aluminum clad piece of plywood, which this has to be quieter and better BTUs, like insulative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they're cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter than a comparative aluminum and plywood trailer.
Have you ever done an AC unit?
So we do offer a portable AC unit. It's a 5,000 BTU. It'll store in the toolbox and it plugs into 2 ports on the camper wall.
I think it's necessary. Have you?
I mean, I would say it's necessary for the right people.
Yeah,
and where
you're
at.
Phoenix or something.
Yeah, so if you're in Phoenix or the Southeast.
Yeah.
the humidity is
The
humidity is a real thing. So
and that was still run. You have to have shore power for that, or is
you have to have shore power or a generator to run that. They're people use them.
Because I've heard like these you use a Max Air fan.
Max Air, yep.
I've heard those make a huge difference.
They are, and we changed from the Fantastic fan to Max Air a couple years ago now. And the Max Air is the quietest on the market. It has the hood that can run in the rain or the snow, which is really nice. And these fans in this size camper are so oversized.
Right.
You can move. I mean, you can feel the suction. If you have it cranked all the way up, you can feel the suction on the cabin doors.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it moves a lot of air. And the people that have been in the desert camping, it's hot as heck during the day,
right?
But it cools off really quick.
That's right.
And we do our fans with the reverse option too. So then it cools off. You suck that hot air out of the camper, pull in that cold.
Yeah, do you normally, most often, do you like have it exhausting or like blowing in?
So it depends again on the climate.
Okay.
So like kind of with that desert thing, now the camper's hot, but the desert is cooled off so quickly. So that's when that reverse comes in handy, because now the camper's hot and it's cool outside. So get that hot air out of the camper, suck fresh air in through the side windows, and you're sleeping comfortable.
And you have like a propane heater inside these?
Yeah, so we run the Heat Source Propex forced air furnace. It's 6,500 BTUs.
It's nice.
They are really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're so oversized.
Like you could hotbox.
If you want a rolling sauna, you can have it.
Yeah.
Usually, even in winter camping, I was down in chasing some storms in Silverton, down in the San Juans, and it was 0 degrees at night, and it was still only a couple clicks. If you're familiar with the Propex, it's pretty much blue to red.
Okay.
For temperature, and I was still in the blue. It's 0 degrees in the San Juan Mountains, and I'm 70 degrees in the cabin.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Another little subtle thing that I like is there's a lot of interior storage, because one thing we always ask, my wife always asks, is like, where do you put your clothes and like your like suitcases and all like the stuff? So you guys have like nice deep storage, and I also. Because sometimes it's misleading when you guys are looking at like teardrops and stuff. The cabinet space is shared with the kitchen, so like it'll, you know what I mean. So in the video when it's empty, it looks like there's plenty of space. But then when you put a pantry and you put like chips and all that stuff, then you go to put your clothes in and you're like, there's chips there.
Right. Yeah.
So I like these.
It's separate.
You guys have it separate.
We wanted to keep those two areas separate. The pass-through system that you see on some of the other ones, we've never seen a need for it, and it can kind of inhibit some of that space that you have. And we're a big duffel bag, jam it in there and go.
I like that.
We've had owners that they'll drag the trailer to the Container Store, and they'll get custom Rubbermaid boxes that fill every cubic inch of those cabinets. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but we have a lot of storage. I can't remember the cubic feet off the top of my head right now.
It's nice,
but it's significant, and I mean, we found if you have the space, you always fill it up anyway.
That's right. So let's dive into a little bit of kind of what's next for you guys. Like you're building a showroom, which is super exciting. So we've had some big changes happen here in the spring and early summer of 2020. We had, for the last few years since 2017, we've been operating just through dealerships. So we were purely the manufacturer and sold everything to dealers. And as of late, we parted ways with our dealer in Denver. And so we're bringing kind of our territory sales in-house. Okay, but so you're still going to also have dealers?
We still have dealers. So we still have 5 other dealers around the U.S.
Okay.
All, Northwest, Southwest, out East, Texas, and Montana.
Okay.
And so it's great to be able to put your hands on these things.
It is.
It makes a huge difference. But yeah, we're selling direct here in Denver officially as of about a week ago.
Okay.
So we're building our showroom floor. We're going to have all the accessories and goodies in there, and we're bringing in some other brands just to retail as well. But we're working on getting that built out, and we're excited.
And you guys, since you've been doing this 2015, it's been a pretty steady growth trajectory, and you got like, you remember the day when you hired your first full-time employee?
Yeah. Hired a kind of a part-time helper on Craigslist.
Yeah.
This was when I'd moved from Breck down to Denver, Golden particularly.
Yeah.
I rented a 400 square foot storage unit. And we were building trailers out of that.
That's cool.
Customers were coming to the storage unit to look at trailers. One plug-in, no bathroom.
Wow, man.
And that was 2016. Then we've progressed from there. We went from the storage unit. They finally kicked me out because they didn't want me welding and painting in their storage unit.
Right.
Which is more than fair.
Yeah.
Then we went to 1,000 feet, and then we went to 2,000 square feet, and then 4, and then 8.
So this is 8 that you
have. So we have
now?
8 right now, and we're in the process of looking to get into more of the 15 to 20,000.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's big, man, and it means a lot. Like in both our industry, it's probably equal. In our industry, in the vintage 4x4 world, there's a lot of like come and go companies that just like are looking for the quick buck.
Right.
And companies that demonstrate an ability to grow responsibly, take care of their customers, maintain quality, that means a lot. I'm telling you, man, you don't want to buy one of these and in 6 months you're out of business and then you're stuck.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. And the teardrop world has been volatile in the last few years. There's been a couple of the larger guys that went bankrupt. And I've kind of kept a tab. There's 150, 200 teardrop builders in the U.S.
Really, that many?
There's that many. And it's your kind of your friend down the street that's a carpenter, cabinet builder, and he has the skills to do that. But we want to be something else other than that. We want to be a well-recognized, high quality and a higher volume producer. We don't ever want to be an assembly line. Right. But we want to break out of just the teardrop world, and we want to break out from kind of the garage builder as well.
That's right. And so let's talk about a couple things, which I think are very indicative of that kind of philosophy. Sure. You were just telling me about warranty.
Right.
Talk about some of the, how do you guys stand behind your campers?
Right. So as of 2020, we moved to a lifetime structural warranty. So that's your chassis and the exoskeleton.
That's awesome.
And we did that because we're not breaking stuff. If I was breaking stuff and gave you a lifetime warranty, I'd go broke.
That's right.
And then everything else, craftsmanship, things like that's covered under a 2-year warranty.
Which is great.
And we're certainly not going to be like, well, you bought that, you're 2 days out of your warranty. It's right. We'd much rather send a part out and just everyone's happier. It's easier for us and it's easier for the customer. And
that's like that's what I think there is a sweet spot in business where you get like you were saying, assembly line. You become like Winnebago, and it's like completely impersonal. Yeah. There's no relationship with Matt. And I know you also don't want the business to be, I'm in this phase right now where like I'm trying to separate, I'm not the brand. Like it's a legit, man, my guys are talented and trained, and they embody the brand as well. Yeah. So it's more than just about us as owners, but at the same time, there's something special about me being able to come and go, and you reaching out and you going like, yeah, come on by, man, I'll walk you guys around. Like, and I can tell if we end up buying one of these, that it'll be a long-term relationship. Absolutely. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's what we want to go for. The quality and the craftsmanship come down to the guys in the shop. they don't even let me build anymore.
That's the same, dude.
Yeah,
I'm a liability.
And I'm so
at this
lost, and I don't know where the tools and parts are anymore.
Isn't that funny?
That credit goes to those guys. I mean, the concept and everything is my brainchild, but
Yep.
But I couldn't do it.
And you just also noticed your wife is she a part of the business as well?
Yeah, so she came on full time probably about a month ago.
Okay.
We are just expanding. So
Yes.
we've almost tripled employees.
Wow.
Over the last month. I mean, so it's been a huge expansion.
That's crazy, dude.
You've seen it's a mess in here. We're running phone
That's
lines
good, yeah.
and getting routers and offices set up. It's crazy, but we feel like there's a couple factors with that we are getting to a little bit of a critical mass here of just trailers on the road, customers talking about the trailers on forums, YouTube. We just got a plug in Business Insider.
Nice.
The other day, which just phones didn't stop ringing for 3 days straight.
Interesting.
And also, I mean, some of it has come out of the kind of the COVID rush.
Yeah.
Where people have canceled their trips. They're not doing the cruise. They're not going to Disneyland.
I'm telling you, that's a good insight, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing. People are resetting. Something like this, it's hard to shut down the freedom to just go out and explore, man.
Exactly.
So I think that's good.
Yeah. So we got it all at all angles of kind of this expansion and growth, and combined with it's generally our busy season right now. Everyone wants a camper right now, so it's exciting. It's awesome. Yeah.
And you said you're about 2 to 3 months on build time right now.
Yeah, we're at about 2.5 months, and that's different than usually how we've operated.
Right.
We've with our dealer network, we've always had units in stock.
Interesting.
It's if you wanted something custom, or if a dealer didn't have something in stock, okay, give us 2 weeks. It takes a week to ship it and a week for us to turn something around and things like that. So we've been really, I don't want to say blindsided, but a little bit inundated with orders. And so that's great. We're excited that people are excited about our stuff.
That's right.
So we're working really hard to bring that manufacturing capabilities back up to demand.
And another thing, just to state it, like pretty much all this stuff is made. You have like your American made.
Yep.
It's all made here in the U.S.
It is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're a lot of our sheet metal parts and powder coat and anything like that is right here in Denver.
It's great.
So we're getting everything here. We build as much as we can in-house within reason.
Yep.
We've outsourced some of that stuff. We used to build our composite panels in-house. But that takes up a lot of space and it takes up a lot of time. So we outsourced it to a pretty large, it's a global composite company. But they happen to have a factory in Lamar, Colorado.
Great.
And they bring a load up of panels to us every week. And
that definitely doesn't mean that it's less quality. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's actually greater quality to outsource to specialists who that's what they do.
Right.
We do that quite a bit nowadays too.
Yeah, it makes sense. You just got to decide where it is and because there's going to be stuff that no one else can do the way we do it. And then there's guys who have a global composite company that know exactly what they're doing and can regenerate that level of quality every single time.
That's right. How about so people typically, do they still order through dealers mostly, or will they come here and pick them up?
So typically they're going to order their trailer through their nearest dealer.
Yeah.
Just to save the trip. And we do see people that will buy a trailer at a dealer out of state, but they'll decide to pick it up here.
Yep.
And we love doing that. They want the shop tour, show them how they're built. But we're really conscious of territories.
Yes.
So we're not gonna sell a trailer to a customer that has a dealer down the road.
That's
because
nice. I appreciate that.
that's their territory, that's their sale, that's how that needs to work. But
and that's probably best for the customer as well to establish that relationship and have
it's
that.
best for the customers, and the dealers are partners in this too.
Yep.
And so we want to make sure we're supporting them because they're supporting us.
Have you ever considered a Boreas meetup?
We have. So we were planning to do that this year, and with everything going on, we decided just to push it off for this year.
Cool. You got to do it, man.
We want to do it, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and we have like a private Facebook owners page.
Yeah.
And I don't get on Facebook as much as I used to, but when I go on there, it's so awesome to see.
That is cool, man.
All these people and all these pictures, and everyone's asking questions and answering questions. So we definitely want to do that. It'll probably be 2021.
And what's crazy is like, if these things have been around, but they're like kind of in that niche overland space. But I find like when you see one of these at a campground or like a state park, like there's typically like people that get inundated. I'm sure your customers with like, what is this thing? Like, give me a tour.
Yeah, we get that kind of pass through information too. It's like, I can't get gas.
Yeah, that's right.
Without, and they'll be like, hey, send me more brochures and business cards because I already handed them all out. And that's hearing stuff like that from a customer is, I can tell you how great the trailer is until I'm blue in the face,
right.
But hearing it, directly from an owner is leaps and bounds.
Putting eyes on it is good.
And seeing it in person.
That's
absolutely.
Right. So you guys know who you are out there. I've talked to many of my customers and friends about like this concept, and so you guys got to check Matt out. How do people find you? How do they?
Yeah. So boreascampers.com, BOREAS.
Yep.
Boreas Campers on Facebook and Instagram.
Sweet.
That's about it. YouTube.
And I'm telling you guys, what's Matt makes it very easy to get in line. I think it's like $500 to hold your spot, and then you pay when you pick it up, which that's awesome.
Yeah, and we've always been a no deposit scenario, but just with so many orders we've had to organize it.
Right.
So we're doing $500 placeholder refundable deposit, and then you pay when you pick it up. We've seen too many businesses go under and take customers' deposits with them, and not that we're going anywhere, but It makes people feel more comfortable.
That's great.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you wanted it, like, can you customize the wrap? Like, yeah, and we'll kind of end in this because I know we got to get going. We're headed to California, and you got to get home. But
I live here.
Oh yeah, I know, same line. Right. But talk about like the blend of like, because customization, we've kind of dropped that word from our vocabulary because it'll put you out of business.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we try to, like, we've been doing this 20 years. We're users. We live the life. We know what we're talking about. And this is your brand. Like, so you're curating kind of best practices for your customers and people that resonate with your brand. So talk about customization versus spec.
Right.
And one more component that you've talked about. Your package is not like crazy base model for $5,000, and then you got 100,000 in accessories and upgrades. Right.
Yeah, and you'll see that a lot in this market. They lure you in at this price, and then it's a 5-page questionnaire of some components that I've read them. I have a hard time understanding.
It's nuts.
What they are. So we've gotten a lot of feedback on that, where it's just like, great, thank you for picking this all out, because I don't understand the difference between a converter and an inverter, and how many watts I need and how many gallons I should have. So the XT is our turnkey ready to camp model, and that's been our kind of bread and butter. That's where most of the people gravitate to. And in terms of options and upgrades on any camper, typically they're going to be bolt-on stuff.
Yes.
A dual battery, a rooftop tent, bike rack systems, window shade covers.
Stuff that you already have.
That we have in stock.
Out. Yeah.
We know how to install it. We know how much it's going to cost us to do it, and we know what we need to, we've got to make money on that product, right?
Right.
So that's how businesses work.
Yep.
And this year we did bring in, I hate to call it a base model, but more of our entry-level model, the Boreas AT. And so that is the same chassis, same suspension, same composite. It just doesn't have all the accessories that the XT has. So it won't have your kitchen system, your propane, your fresh water system, but it still comes with the toolbox and the spare tire and the electrical and the roof rack and the awning.
That might be great for someone that wants to mess with some plumbing and customization themselves.
And they've been really popular.
Good.
We've been getting a lot of orders for them, and the way our camper system and construction is designed is that you can buy that entry-level AT, and you can, over your own time frame, budget frame, turn it completely into the XT, the fully loaded unit. So everything can be added after. And it took us a while to be able to even offer that entry-level model, because the composite construction is expensive.
Yes.
So we finally have honed down our processes and our systems and our efficiency that we can do that program.
And what does that AT run?
So the AT is $18,900.
Yeah, which is, dude, for this quality and robustness, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about that.
And then the MXT and XT are pretty relatively comparable in price.
They are.
What do you jump to on the XT?
So the XT then goes to $29,990.
And that's got solar. That's got hot water. That's got the kitchen. Does that have the fridge?
Has the fridge.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
So you're ready to pop that at $29,900 and hit the road.
Yep, and it's ready to go. And a lot of times when I get questions on, should we do this? Should we add this? Our response is go out and use it.
Yep,
and
exactly.
See what you need.
I love that.
Come back if you want one of these parts, or this bike rack, or this propane tank. Yeah, we can do that for you. And a lot of times people don't come back because the systems that we have designed work well.
That's right. Last thing, promise, is, so a friend of mine, I've been looking, I'm a research guy, in Mania, if you're out there, I'm like you, I just like doing research. My wife will be like, what are you looking at that for? We're not ready to buy one of those for 2 years. I'm like, I don't care, I just want to educate myself, and it's fun. So when I see that price point, my reaction is, that's pretty good for what it comes to. That's a very reasonable price. Right. And then now seeing the quality, and again, just kind of the robustness of it, I go $30K that's a good deal.
Right.
But a friend of mine's like, $30K, you can buy a 27 foot whatever brand camper trailer with the toy hauler.
Yep.
So talk about what is the difference between an assembly line mass produced thing, and then, because again, I don't know if I would have wanted to be your first customer, hand building in a storage locker.
Right.
But you're in this kind of sweet spot where it's like coach built. So you have a skilled team of craftsmen, engineers.
Yeah.
You've got resource. It's well thought out. So yeah, just walk us through that.
Yeah, I mean it costs money to build quality stuff.
Yep.
We get compared to the big. I can get a trailer 3 times that size, and that's fine.
That's right.
That's fine. Go do it. If that's what you're needing and things like that. Kind of the mantra for Elkhart, which is Elkhart, Indiana, where most of these campers, I think it's 90% of the campers you see going down the road were built within a 1 square mile area of Elkhart, Indiana.
Okay, wow.
And a lot of them are owned by the same company, just different brands. So they get categorized as what we call stick and tin.
Stick and
tin. So it's kind of this glued, stapled, where we might use tube steel, they're going to use C-channel or angle iron.
Yes.
The quality just isn't there in a factory that some of those factories build 300 campers a day.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
And you are an assembly line worker, and you do one thing.
Yep.
And that's it, and you never see the customer come in. You know, like we had our customers in, and the guys jumped out to help them, and they don't have that interaction.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And
that's huge.
Yeah, and we're working towards it's kind of a side point, but we're working towards getting once we get caught up. I mean, I don't even have a trailer right now, but once we get caught up, we're gonna have a company trailer.
Yes.
So everyone in here can sign up for a weekend and take a camper out. So then they know.
That's huge.
Everything, they know how to build them. But,
right.
Hey, maybe they got a good idea on how to tweak something.
That's a great idea.
And,
I love that.
it's, if you're working in a camper manufacturer, we want our employees to have access
that's awesome.
to our campers. But yeah, it's a balancing act, with kind of interacting with those people, because I've reacted with them two different ways. Sometimes it's you just put your foot down and you're very stern and give them the facts. And I've swayed those people where they're just kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, it has that and that. Okay, I get it now. I get it. And then other people, you'll never change their mind.
Right, and I like how you said it. If that's what you want to do, go do it.
Yeah.
But I promise you, like, mobbing this thing 30, 40 miles an hour down a washboard road,
right,
a stick and tin thing is just going to start coming apart.
They're fall apart where, we have someone coming in tomorrow to look at our hybrid model.
Yeah.
And they're like, we love off-roading, and not even off-roading. This is forest roads.
Yeah, yep.
And washboard road is the hardest thing on any vehicle.
Yeah.
A Jeep trailer, at least you're going slow, and it's, and they're like, we got an R-Pod, and it's falling apart. And then the R-Pod was never intended to do that. And you might, the stick and tin campers, you might get one trip, 2, 3 trips down forest roads and things like that. But are you going to be doing that 5, 10, 15 plus years down the road with thousands of miles of washboard under you?
Another thing that I found is those campers hit the tank, like resale, like
absolutely.
Whereas these, I'm telling you, I guarantee you there are used ones of these like almost exactly the same price as a brand new one.
There are no used ones because they go so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a customer up in Michigan that put his on Expedition Portal the other day. Yeah. And it was right in the, we're out of stock. All of our dealers are out of stock right now. There aren't trailers available, and he sold it in 24 hours at full asking. Yeah,
which is so I often talk about this, like if you buy quality stuff, it's not like you're disposing of resource, you're just allocating it into a different thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like you could have this thing for 2-3 years and go, that was a great, man, our family did this, we had some great adventures, now my kids are grown, we're doing something different, and walk away at a minimal loss with tons of memories, tons of good. It was a good investment, but financially, it's nice to be able to get to not lose it so hard,
Yeah, the resale value on your stick and tin camper is, you might be 50%,
right,
and that's within a couple of years,
right.
So, and just buying now, you're not going to get every penny out of it, but this market continues to grow.
That's right.
And so now you got someone who's just starting to dip their toe into this world, and they don't want to buy a new one, right? They kind of want to try it out.
Yeah,
they're going to get the one that's on Expedition Portal or Craigslist or whatever. So
that's what I've heard, man. Craigslist is for old people now. It's Facebook Marketplace.
It is Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I've left the Facebook world a few months ago.
Yeah,
and I haven't been back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm going to let you go, Matt. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for coming by.
This has been a great talk. I actually have a ton of other stuff to talk about, but we'll do it on a future episode. Hopefully and my wife and I are going to be thinking hard, man. I'm excited.
We'd love to have you in the Boreas family.
The moto is just too much of a dream, dude, to get off grid, take the bike out and just zip around. And I did one last question.
Sure.
Did I hear you in a video say it's humanly possible if things are loaded correctly to put like a smaller, lighter bike on the back the receiver? Yeah,
the rear receiver is rated at 350 pounds.
Okay.
And so, you need to be conscious of loading it. We have a great tongue weight video and blog on our website about
great
that.
Information.
But it's doable. We have customers that are carrying multiple bikes. Yeah,
I like it. All right, until next time, I encourage you guys to check out Boreas. Great company. Man, it's just a great place. Thanks so much for their hospitality. Check them out. If you're interested in this, just go down the rabbit hole a little bit, man. It's fun. And again, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.